Hey, Redeemer parents, it's Pastor Dan. I wanted to share a few quick thoughts with you. First, some things that I've been working on actually for a couple months. The first thing is a parents' workshop. I had hoped to get this launched here in May, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen due to the shelter-in-place order. But the parents' workshop was meant to be a time for the families in Redeemer and maybe even outside to come together and to reflect a little bit more on a particular topic. This first one I thought would be really helpful would be on technology. Technology is consistently reported as the most frustrating and uncertain aspect of parenting. When do you give your kids a phone? When do you, or how much do you let them watch on TV? Movie wise, at what point do they pass that threshold into PG-13 territory? So there's always a lot of questions. And instead of it just being a time of just straight teaching where I would stand up and lecture at you for a certain number of hours and then you'd go home and maybe talk with your spouse about the things, I thought it might be more helpful to first listen to somebody who's been dealing with this for decades. There is a man named Walt Mueller who's recorded some videos that are really helpful, but then to take time in small groups as parents and to talk a little bit more about decisions that we've made, questions that we have, different strategies regarding technology, and make it something that is more collaborative, something where parents are talking more. If you have any interest in that, or if you have some ideas for other topics, I'd love to do this twice a year if we could. And I think it would be a great opportunity to enjoy some like Chick-fil-A sandwiches and to talk about things that are meaningful in terms of parenting and care of children and youth within our church. So that was one thing I'm working on. Another thing that I've been working on is a Professing Your Faith class. If you have a child who is ready to make profession of faith, to go before the session and describe their faith in Jesus Christ and their desire to join in full fellowship with the church, I'm working on a class. I had hoped that we would start on that June 1st, but we're going to have to adjust some of those dates. It would be 7 to 8 classes more than likely. It's a class designed especially for children of the church, children who've grown up going to Sunday school, or maybe not, but who have come to their parents and expressed their desire to follow Jesus and have been doing that maybe even for a couple years now, but have not gone through a new members class. We're doing a new special class just for professing faith. And so if you have a child who meets that, who's interested, please reach out to me, let me know, so that way I can reach back to you whenever the classes are going to be ready, and I can let you know what the schedule looks like. But I'm hoping we have a large class of our youth and children who are ready to make profession, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. So parents workshops and profession of faith, those are kind of two different things that I've been working on in addition to working on sermons and reaching out to your students and other things that I typically do. In terms of words of encouragement, I wanted to speak to you, especially as a new parent, to say I've been a dad now with Ezra out of the womb for 2 months now, and I had a youth pastor buddy who would always tell me that parents eat guilt and anxiety for breakfast every morning. And I definitely, in my years of partnering with parents in helping to train up youth, have seen that, but experiencing it for the first hand, I'm finding certain words of encouragement more powerful in this season. And one of them is Matthew 6, verse 34. Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. And Jesus says that, he teaches about that after reflecting upon the Father's care for his people, and he's encouraging his people, do not be anxious. And that seems like such a hard thing to do. There's so many things to be anxious about, and oftentimes our kids are the things that we are most uncertain about, most fearful for. And yet Jesus here is telling us to not be anxious about tomorrow, not be overly pressed. And the reason why is because the Lord is the one who is guiding that. The tomorrow is in the hands of the Lord, and we don't know what it will look like. And so we seek to be faithful today, and we trust, and we do what we can. But ultimately, it's the Lord who has us. It's the Lord who is guiding us and who will grant to us wisdom. And even whenever things happen that we hate to see happen, we need to remember that if God so clothes the grass of the field, if he so clothes the lilies, then he will provide for us. And so whatever height we pass over, or whatever valley we pass through, the Lord is with us to help us, to guide us. And so we don't need to fear. We don't need to fear. And that do not be anxious comes not as a stern rebuke, but as a fatherly exhortation that the Lord will provide. And so I hope you are encouraged. I hope, as there is a great deal of uncertainty and you're anxious about your child's future, remember that the Lord is in control, that he will guide you, that this isn't means for us to not do what we can. But whenever we are seeking to be faithful, we always need to keep those guardrails in place, that the Lord is sovereign and he will provide, even in the midst of a pandemic. So that's all I have for today. And I just want to say I love you, I miss y'all, and I'd love to hear from you. All right, have a great day.